We are going live.
Let's not start it with that.
What?
That was funny. Are we live?
Yeah, we've been live since I said we are going live.
Okay, so you caught half a burp.
Oh, did you?
I'm like, as a burp is coming in, like, we're going live. I'm like, no.
Bad time to burp. Yeah. So this is, we obviously don't have any viewers yet. Give it a few seconds. But so tell me, you've got the on light on your microphone, which is a pretty low light. Okay, so it's not linked through your board. You switched it, right? You just have it on a switch?
Yep.
Yeah, nice. And you just turn it on to make it look pretty?
Well, it does cut the mic off. Like if I switch.
Oh.
Can't hear me, but now you can hear me.
So where'd you put it in the grand scheme of the wiring? How'd you wire that in?
Well, it's brain dead simple. So these Mika lights get fed by a 12 to 24 volt, just DC signal through a 5-pin, through the last 2 pins of a 5-pin XLR.
Yes.
And then so I've got a 3-pole, 3-position switch. I'm not using the second position, but so I've got basically I've got the 24 volt live, the hot 24 volts going through the switch, and then also the hot and cold from the mic going through the same switch. So when I turn the light off, it also kills the the inverted and non-inverted audio feeds coming.
Cool. Very cool.
Which is kind of such a nerd.
Well, no, you know what? A lot of people look for that on-air light when they're podcasting or they're doing anything in their studio. A lot of people just set it up with a switch on their desk, and
that's totally fine, like a little turret mount.
Yeah, I've considered it, but then who am I telling I'm on air? So no one else comes downstairs and like bothers me. So, nah. So, this is your setup. You have a new setup now. Is your webcam secured to your computer, or are you able to pick it up and show us what you did?
It's not secured, but the cable is very short. So that's a problem.
So that is a major problem. Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty tight there. Now, if I had anticipated us doing that, I could have put an extension on it and then maybe gotten some.
You didn't think I was gonna ask?
Well, I don't know. I sent you a picture. I thought that was good enough.
Well, no, for the live stream. That's what you ask about, man. You're like, so describe your new studio. Obviously, if you got a new background, you're literally paying homage to Taylor Swift behind you. Like, do you light candles over there too, or?
Well, I mean, you can consider those lights candles, I guess.
Big Taylor Swift.
This is sort of my. Yes, slightly, just slightly. No, she's the worst. She's the worst. No, I find like my regular working. This isn't my usual working light. This is sort of my video light setup. For my work light, I'm like this, but it kind of kills my face light.
Oh, you're using the bloody hues, eh? Are those Philips hue?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's how many of them in here? There's 3 in the booth. No, there's 4 in the booth, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in here.
Everything in this house, you can actually see it. Well, Dylan can't, but you can see it right above my head on this side. I've got a whatchamacallit light, fluorescent. So I don't really have much in the way of being able to do that. I've dreamt of it
honestly,
because,
like, everyone trivializes it, because it's like, well, it's just changing the color lights. It actually, for the sake of workflow, like mental states.
Oh yeah,
huge difference.
Big time.
Massive difference.
Huge.
Even last night I was working late, and I've got sort of like a Lydian dark mode that's just a bunch of blues. So I was just kind of chilling in this. It completely transforms whatever room you're in into basically whatever you want it to be.
Very cool.
Like even this, I was producing some promo stuff last night, and I had this on, and I mean the video makes it look a lot brighter than it is, but I've basically got like almost a candle lit kind of tone all along this wall. There's 4 of them along this wall, 2 behind the monitor and 2 in the corners. And then those are actually quite dark, but the camera has gained itself up to compensate.
What? Oh, you just have them in lamps, or?
Well, the 2 behind this monitor are they're Hue play bars, so they're specifically designed.
Yeah, are those worth it? Those are expensive buggers.
They are, but yes, they're worth it.
Really?
All this to say is,
what do you get out of that? Other than ambiance?
I mean, are there other things that can do it? Yes. You could get a light strip, a cheap $20 light strip off Amazon.
No,
You could
they're
custom
they're
cut it.
garbage. Like the one thing that I've looked at, and you see a lot of YouTubers have those long. They look like a halogen light, a light bulb, the long halogen light bulb, and they have them, and they're incredibly expensive, like $800 for one. And I've always wanted to get one on either side of my background just to kind of make it look cool. But then the Corsair has the
like
IQ.
the neon stuff.
Yeah.
You can get those blue cold cathode things.
Yeah, I've thought about it, but then I've got a lot of other things to spend my money on. So
yeah, I feel you.
we're up to 5 people. Not a person has chatted, which I find interesting. I don't think I
Because
left.
we're not being interesting enough, Aiden. Jeez.
Did I leave chat off?
Are you that guy? Are you gonna be that guy?
No,
The
I'm
guy that
chatting.
leaves
I
chat
chatted. Chatting's working.
Okay.
I wonder. Oh, I can actually go in. I never realized I could actually go in and change the settings of a stream while I'm streaming. See, this is how
While you're streaming.
much I suck at streaming. All right, so
We're noobs.
the title of this video, before I move on and I start forgetting about what I actually titled it, I don't have a video for Monday. And do you know why? Well,
Why?
I was contacted. I can't say who the business was now. Dylan knows. Dylan, please don't say anything. But I was contacted to do a video for a company that wanted me to review their product. But the product wasn't working the way it was supposed to. It was still in beta. And because the product is across the world, the communication back and forth has sucked. And not on their fault, not on my fault. I mean, it's just they're half a world away. And I've been waiting, and I'm still in the phase where I can't quite finish the video. So I'm actually going to have to put another video in. I'm going to actually have to go shoot another video that I have kind of on hold for situations like this. And I don't know what to do about it. I don't know. I might actually have to refuse a sponsored video. My first ever sponsored video. Thoughts? No?
That's the business, man. That's the business.
I was so excited for getting a sponsored. Oh, Ken was saying that he was driving. Yeah, you should be sorry, Ken.
Jeez.
Yeah. Well, you can text and drive. Come on, man. Welcome to the show, Ken. But this was supposed to be my first sponsored video. I was actually making real money off of this. I actually bargained for it, and I was like, and I'm trying, and I'm still open. Like, if dude gets a hold of me and he's like, we fixed the problem, we're good to go. I understand the product's in beta, but the video was supposed to be done by Monday, and so
Womp womp.
I might actually have to bring a dust off a video idea and shoot it, which that should go well.
That always goes really well.
Well, no, I have a concept for a video that I've always wanted to do, but it's one of those evergreen videos that it's not specific to the time, so I can.
It's always good to have a pile of those in the back pocket.
Exactly. I've got some ideas for stuff, and I've even got a couple written. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes, but God, it was my first sponsored video, Dylan. What am I supposed to do about that? Anyways, on Monday, because of this drop in sponsorship, and it's kind of left me 1 week behind now, or 1 week, I guess I have one less video than I thought I was going to have. I went and ordered a couple new mics. So I've got 2 mics coming in.
Which ones, or is it a surprise?
Well, I've got a vote on it on our YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel. It's the AKG D5, which I've been wanting. Like, I've used it before, but I've never sat down and actually done a review of it. And I've got the Neat Mics Worker Bee. Both of them on their way.
Worker Bee.
How dare you not have a Monday video? You've been demoted to the Silver Boys. Thanks, Interstrip. No. I'm going to have a video, I promise. I am not going to Monday without having a video. But it's not the video I wanted to have. It's a video I want to have. It's just not what I was getting paid for.
Video. We should do a video over Discord where I just show you all of my studio and you just critique the hell out of it.
You know what? Yeah, like I'm gonna critique your video. However, that would
no. But I mean, like we'll be on a call and like I'll be going through just stuff in real time, and you can like ask questions, and then
That'd
you
be
can,
a good
well, why'd you
idea.
put it like that?
That's a good idea. Let me know in chat if you guys would like to see a Monday video of Dylan's walkthrough of his studio. That'd actually be kind of cool. That maybe we could do that next Friday. I could do a video on Monday, and then next Friday we'll just do a walkthrough of
And then
your
I can
studio.
plug in a bunch of USB extensions to the camera.
Well, I mean,
Just a chain of extension cords.
what's the Never Call Me Again says yes, so I think that's going to be next Friday. We'll do that. But yeah, I promise Monday there will be a video. I'm not gonna. I'm prepared for situations like this. Don't you worry. So the Neat Mics, Worker B, or AKG D5. Dylan?
I've never used the D5. I used the D12 because it's, the egg, the kick drum mic.
Yeah. This one is
Or
like
D1, D112. Sorry, what the hell?
D112? I thought D12 sounded smarter.
Yeah, it did.
Um,
The D12, I think, no, it's the Audix D6 that I'm thinking of. Yeah, no, it's what am I saying? The AKG D112. The egg with the green on the front.
Yeah. No, I remember which one. This one is a handheld. It's supposedly, I've used it. It's been a long time. Very nice mic, but it's like
I'm such an idiot. I type D5 into Google Images. You know what I get? I get a Nikon.
Yeah, AKG D5.
Yeah,
It's just a little handheld mic.
Looks like the Sennheiser that I showed you last.
It does. It actually, and that's funny because in that last video I talked about how everyone's ripping off the SM58, and literally everyone does. There's so many rip-offs of the SM58. It's not even funny. But then I had the E835, which isn't a direct rip-off. So I think that's the D5 versus the E835. The D5, by the way, was 150 Canadian dollars. So it's more expensive than the SM58.
You know what you should do? You should do, at some point, I keep giving you ideas to spend money.
No, I love this. No, it's good.
No, you should do, because you've done a shootout between some like lower end handhelds.
Yeah.
And like lower to like mid tier, like the 58. You should do like a premium handheld shootout. So like get a Beta 58A.
All right.
Sure, Beta 58A, which is their premium handheld. And then compare that with like the D5, and maybe if you can get your hands on a couple more rentals, maybe.
No,
because that'd be interesting.
I don't mind buying.
And then maybe compare like obviously compare like the 58, the Beta 58A, with like the Behringer crapshoot.
Yeah. Oh wow. I was not that big of a fan of the 8500, the XM8500. The harshness on the low
is.
There's a lot of people that are like, dude, it's $30. It's great. It sounded like a muddy mess. It had no clarity to it. It had no. You had to like EQ the shit out of it just to get anything out of it. Hint of Shrimp says he loves your mustache or moustache. It's more of a goatee. Hint of Shrimp.
I haven't seen you at all today, so I have no idea what you look like right now.
No, it's your mustache, not mine.
Oh my, yeah. I need to shave.
I just have the usual half goat. So
man, I the last week, I'm not gonna get into it too deep because it's a hell, but the last week for me as far as remodeling has just been insanity.
I can imagine.
I've been pulling all-nighters all over the place. Just for anyone out there who's planning on doing a proper studio build, wiring stuff properly takes a lot of work. Like to ensure that all your power cables are like at least 6 to 12 inches away from all your audio cables. That's hard. Okay? That's not easy to do. And in my case, I had to actually make some new cables because this stupid Mika arm runs on a 5-pin XLR.
Oh, you got a Mika?
That's what I told you. That's what this is.
Oh, see, that's the thing. I thought because those rings come with several different types of arms.
No, this is a dedicated Yellowtech. Well,
when did you get the Mika arm?
Part of the desk.
Oh, it comes with the desk.
Well, I think it was one of those things. The engineer was just nice enough to he yanked.
Yeah, whatever. Just take it.
Last week, the engineer told me, he's like, hey, they were like, well, before you go in and disassemble the desk, let us go in and we'll yank our stuff out, and and then you can have at it, kind of thing. So he sends me a note. He's like, hey, I've taken out, it's disconnected from the outside world. Go have at her. Anything that's left is yours. I get in here. There's like 6 tons of cables still on the desk. There's a bunch of rack mount stuff. I got a phone hybrid, which I don't even have a phone line, but I have a phone hybrid.
Which one did you
I've
get?
got one of the Gentner.
Oh, okay. Those are good
Gentner
ones.
job. It's a good it's
Yeah.
a good phone hybrid. But never gonna use it. But hey, it's a nice little extra light in my rack.
Something
I
to
plugged
suck
it in
more
for no
power
reason.
back. Yeah.
No, I
That's
got like a $600 UPS that's still in good condition.
Holy shit.
A $5,000 KVM extender, an Adderlink Infinity transmitter and receiver.
Yeah.
Like I'd say all in all, with the desk included, a new office chair, obviously the Mika arm, which by itself with the system pole is like $700.
Oh, you got that. Oh, is it like the three? It's got three different elbows to it. Or is it just?
It's the system pole, so you can obviously mount a bunch of different things, and then it's got the arms coming off the top. So the arm is literally, it's high enough that it comes right over my monitor, and then
See, and this is the thing that I wanted to get. Because I've got the Yellow Tech kind of big competitor is the OC White, and I've got the low profile.
Which is funny because I know that like the OC White's big thing was the low profile, but now you can get the TV broadcast arms for the Yellow Tech system that are exactly the same.
Yeah, but they basically rip each other off.
Oh, absolutely.
But
although I will say this, Yellow Tech is ridiculously expensive.
Oh no,
Like,
so is OC White, dude.
Just to put it in perspective, though, for the Mika mic system, which is sort of that's their name for all the mounting products that they sell, just a puck, you know, the little pucks that go at the top of the system pole, just an indicator light, basically, of a variety of colors, €84.
Yeah,
for a light.
I had
my entire PSA 1 is almost about that price.
Yeah, no, I know. I've got the OC White, and so this is my OC White here. I can actually pick it out. That's a boom arm. I've got two extras, and I want to get the boom for the desk. Then you can put the monitors on, as well as the boom arm for the mic and all that. Want to do it, but for now, I just wanted to mount it desk level. So I went and I got. It's like a machined metal hole that you can drop the boom arm in, or the low profile boom arm in. $80, and it's a piece of machined metal.
Yeah, it's a grommet mount basically.
I could have just drilled the size of hole I needed in the desk.
I know. Well, the Mika approach, like the entire system pole, which I find this amazing considering the amount of things that you're supposed to be able to mount on a system pole. And granted, the system pole is a heavy. Like I had to take it apart to get in here, and it's a heavy piece of steel. Like that's a solid piece of metal, as opposed to the arm, which is still good quality aluminum, but it's hollowed out, right? But the system pole is just being held in by one bolt that's like a quarter of an inch thick.
Yeah,
one bolt, and so I just drill the hole. I just pull it. Well, so when I got the desk, the original hole that the system pole was fixed into, I've put a monitor mount in, and I have to say, for those people out there who are debating the validity of a monitor mount, oh my God, does it make life so much
It clears up your whole desk.
Oh my, and it looks so clean, and not to mention just the flexibility of just being able to raise and lower, like, and pull out and pull out. Like, it's amazing. I'm in love with this thing.
Also your neck, because with me, I'm looking down at my screen right now, and I'm looking down. When you have it up.
Oh yeah, right now it's perfectly at the wall. I've got it a little higher just so it clears the camera mostly, but I've got the two arms. My plan is to have a 49-inch ultra-wide monitor with a 34-inch ultra-wide monitor sideways for script and microphone coming right out underneath. So I like this goal. Because of this camera being borderline fisheye. It makes this look like a curved monitor.
It does, yeah. Oh, it's not borderline fisheye. It's fisheye.
Oh, no, it's which is like in some instances, like where I was situated before, which so for those who are having a hard time figuring out where I'm oriented, I used to be over here. Now I've pretty much rotated like a 90-degree angle, which for acoustics is better because
the acoustics are incredible comparison. It's a lot better, and you don't expect that much off an SM7B, but bad acoustics are bad acoustics.
Like I've got this RE20 here that I use for Teams calls because I think I've mentioned before that this Windows does not know where this SM7B is. it is on channel 31 of my interface, which Windows is like, huh?
Yeah.
So this mic is going through a DBX 166 into my Mackie, which is accessible. So for Microsoft Teams calls and stuff, I use that.
Nice.
Which is given a nice use for my old PSA one. Now that the Mika's
You've
pretty
got
much taken
you've
over
got
the
a
world.
$400 conferencing mic. That's nice.
Pretty much. Well, and that was free. That was the I've never
Yeah.
actually owned an RE20, but that was one thing that came with the desk.
Yeah, I've got a
Technically with the
309A
desk.
too.
You gotta love
309A.
when radio stations close, engineers just don't have the patience
Yeah,
to
it just
liquidate
means
stuff.
it means nothing to them. They're like, it's a microphone. We don't care. Hinter Shrimp says,
Oh, yeah.
"Did I hear you guys say you got one of the B mics?" Yeah, I got a neat worker B, which I'm going to be that and the AKG D5. So there's a poll up on the YouTube channel if you want to see either one of those.
Weren't we making fun of the
Fill up the
worker
poll.
bee for how it looked a couple weeks ago?
I don't. And like so this is one of the reasons I'm really glad Neat didn't send me any of them, because I don't want to have to be like, oh, they look great too, because I don't like the look of the Neat.
I don't like it either. I'm sorry. Look, aesthetic for me is a huge deal.
It's a big deal. It's not that big of a deal. Like I don't.
It's
care.
not the most. It's not the most important.
No.
But I've never used a worker bee. I don't pledge any allegiance to its sound quality. I'm sure it's great.
I don't.
But if I'm looking at that versus another mic that I don't know the sound of that I've been told to try, I'm probably going to try the other one.
If I keep it, I'm painting it black.
Nice.
Flat out. I can't deal with. I don't want it to look like a.
Well, if you're gonna paint it, paint it gold. Like shit, man.
No, I don't want flashy.
Just go all out.
I don't want flashy. I want a black mic. That's it. That's all. I don't want like. I might be wrong. Let me see what happens when I hook it up here and it's all good to go. Because right now, as far as I'm concerned, it just looks like a cheesy attempt at trying to market a mic. And that's what I want to look beyond. I don't want to see I don't want to be like, oh, this mic's flashy and sounds good too. I want to look at it from what it sounds like compared to the AKG P1 or P.
Like if I walked into a
P120?
voiceover studio that somebody like that some Atlas artist was voicing stuff in, and I saw that in their booth, I'm like, I'm not giving you my money. I'm not taking you seriously. What the hell? I'm like,
oh, it's also like, do you want it like hanging in behind where I've got my SM7B hanging right here? If I saw a Neat mic, I'd be like, it's like seeing a Blue Yeti. To me, that's kind of like, oh, really? You got a Blue Yeti? Cool. All right, like, cool. Anyways,
you got a U89.
I still like enough people have been like, dude, I really want to hear you review it. I want to so I'll put it through its paces. I'm not going to judge it based on its looks. I will judge it based on its sounds. And apparently everyone says it's great. So I guess we'll find out. And D5 also lets me put in one more into the kind of all of the handheld mics that I have a feeling I'm going to end up doing one big massive shootout of handheld mics. Also, the idea of doing for handheld mics, they can get pretty expensive. Like you can get some high end like
Neumann makes some.
They make handhelds?
Mm-hmm. I think
like that are meant for
holding in your hand.
Stage work is what I was saying. Like they're stage mics.
Let me see.
Or are they like conference mics? By the way, while you look at that, Hinter Shrimp says, I'm excited to see you review it. Everyone who's reviewed it seems to love the look. It'll be cool to see how you'll review it. And that's the thing. Like, I don't want to review it based on its look. And I'm not saying that other people have, but I do know that you can be influenced by the physical look of a microphone.
If you're going to use it, I always say this. Like I went bass guitar shopping last week, and I was looking for a bass that gave me a particular sound without getting too deep down that rabbit hole. But looking at the different ones, there are certain basses that you can tell are designed for studio. How can you tell that they're designed for studio? Because they look really unassuming. They're like a white body or like a solid wood body, but they've got like 16,000 knobs on them.
Yeah.
Like they can get every sound under the sun. They're active pickups. They're just armed to the teeth, but they don't look like anything. So that's kind of what I ended up settling on. I think if you're a voiceover artist or don't buy something for sound. If you're a streamer, if you're kind of doing this kind of thing, but you make money doing this kind of thing, then yeah, you probably want to take aesthetics into consideration.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for buying a sound thing, it should not be.
I just think people are influenced by visual. And if you want me to prove that, how many people are running a Blue Yeti instead of an wow, I just went blank on it. A Samsung Q2U.
Oh, Samsung
Q2U, yeah. Or they're running a Blue Yeti instead of the ATR 2100X, which is cheaper but sounds better. People want the look of the Blue Yeti. They're influenced by that. And I don't want the same thing to happen with the neat
Here it is. I found it. Okay. So if you can, I really want you to get your hands on this someday. And I say someday because it's
what is it?
Dollars. It is the Neumann KMS 105BK, which is a handheld condenser mic.
See, I heard of that.
And I've seen these around. I've seen these in like very high profile stage shows and stuff. And I've never in my life seen a handheld condenser mic.
There's other ones. I've seen who makes it. This whole show just ends up turning into us searching stuff on Google and talking about stuff. Sure,
no,
KSM9.
I know.
The Shure KSM9.
So that'd be an interesting shootout. It's like I don't know.
It's $900. It better be an interesting shootout.
The Shure or the because I know the Neumann is.
Well, the KSM9 versus the Neumann. Yeah, they're both condensers.
Are they both $900?
Yes.
Really? Oh shit.
Yeah, like they're expensive.
See, to me, Neumann, like they're known for condensers. That's kind of their thing. Shure condenser mic, not worth $900.
Yeah, and that's well, I don't know. I've heard people say it's amazing, right? Like I've heard people.
Well, again, I'm not saying, but I'm saying as far as brands go, Shure does not made a name for themselves as a condenser mic.
Do they have any condensers beyond that?
Oh, they do. They have some SDCs. Actually, they have. I think it's the Beta 181. Which is a SDC, like a pencil mic series with exchange.
Oh, yeah, pencil mics don't count. I mean, I'm talking about
condenser mic.
Yeah, I'm outside of that. Like, Shure doesn't have like a studio condenser microphone. Like,
well, let me look.
I told you it's just going to boil down to us doing this. I think they could solve their look issue if they made the yellow less prominent. If the yellow lines were more thin, I think it'd look a lot less cheesy. And that's the thing, right? Like, I don't want to get caught up in the like, well, this is kind of funky,
yeah,
kind of cool.
You know what? I really agree with that. I think, yeah, if they had these little kind of yellowish ribbons, if it didn't kind of look like the inverted school bus look, I think it might be a little bit better.
Well, and that would be cool. And like it has the box style with the, I think it's box style electronics with the head, just the little head on top of it. So it could look. It could look good. What?
The Shure KSM42SG Studio Large Diaphragm Condenser.
KSM?
Yeah. KSM42SG.
Huh. How much is it?
$1,100.
See, I wouldn't spend that on a Shure. I'm sorry, Shure.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Like I would if I'm spending $1,000 on a microphone.
They have more. They have one that's almost $1,400.
See, then I get to that point, and I'll go AKG.
Okay, no, here we go. 740. So that's the KSM 32. So yeah, they've got a couple actually, a good selection of condenser mics.
Oh, this
539.
This reminds me. So I had an idea for a video. Is can you build your own microphone? And there are a lot of businesses set up to help you build rip-off microphones. So you can get the I think it's the C12 capsule that AKG uses. You can get a body. You can get all this stuff. And so I've been in contact with a few of them to see if they could send me a kit and we can do a video about putting your microphone together and then testing it. And I've been considering this. I'm thinking this might be kind of a fun one. Is it decent? And the one thing that really kind of bugs me about it that I haven't done is the fact that the resonance of the mic body will attribute sound to the microphone. So if you have resonance of like a high resonance, it can leak through while you're talking into it. And if that's
one of the things, honestly, that's one of the things with the SM7 that actually works to its benefit is the resonance of the cavity actually gives it that certain beefy warmth.
Okay. So but that can also go the other way.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Most of the time it goes the other way.
So I'm a little worried about buying one of these kits because they're still like $400. And getting this body that resonates like a bell every time you tap it or talk into it. So I'm considering I'm gonna talk to a few of them, or maybe I can find a body that a high end body provider. I don't know. That sounds really dark. If somebody just came into the stream and I was talking about
high-end body.
Yeah, find a high-end body distributor. Somebody that can get me a nice hot one. What the hell is that?
The rock panel.
All right. Anyways, would you be interested in seeing that? That would be kind of cool, no?
I would see it. So here's my opinion on that. I would never do that. That said, I'm going to say I personally would never do that. But there are some valid reasons why somebody would want to do that. For example, it's a fun project. It's a great learning experience. Gives you a sense of how mics work, electromotive force, all that. For me, with that, it's like, okay, well, I would do it, and it would be cool and probably cost around the same amount of money at the end of the day, and like 30 times the time.
No,
so
you can get you can get an AKG knockoff, the C414 knockoff capsule, and kind of the knockoff electronics from the inside of it. For about $400.
I'll go through all the. To me, again, it's something that you would do not because you want a C414.
Yeah,
it's something that you do because you want to have a fun project to do. Which again, I've done stuff like that. Like just yesterday. Well, yeah.
You put a studio together.
Well, no, but so for example, earlier you're telling me about building this desk. You want to try building this desk that I'm sitting at. That's cool. And honestly, if I gave more of a shit about structural DIY, I probably would be like, yeah, I'm totally gonna do that. But for me, it's always a time-money equation.
Yeah.
If I don't have the time, I'll spend the money. If I don't have the money, I'll spend the time. In this case, this desk not only was already made, but it cost me $0. So
I'm now in this horrific death loop of like, that's a cool video idea. Could I build a studio desk based on the measurements you give me? I would get you to give me measurements and drawings. Could I build the same studio desk for probably maybe an eighth of the cost of what that studio desk would cost?
Oh yeah, this desk is easily about $4,900.
Yeah, and the materials in it are probably about maybe $300 in material.
Yeah, most of it's in labor. Most of it's in architecture. And
yeah. Oh, yeah, R&D and all of that stuff. It's worth the $4,900 if you have $4,900. So I want to see. So it's kind of a death loop for me where I'm like, oh, you know what? I should try to build that. Can you build your own microphone? I like projects, so I'm like.
I actually, one of my professors back in college built his own ribbon mic. From scratch. So he didn't even buy a kit. He actually took like a metal box, essentially looked like a cheese grater, drilled holes in it to act as the mic case. Then it was a ribbon mic, so he got a bunch of like a spool of couple nanometer thick, I think it was like 10 nanometer thick ribbon, like carbon.
Wow.
Ribbon. And he had pictures of all the ones that he snapped because it's obviously so delicate.
Yeah.
So he'd like cut a piece and then he would accidentally, because you have to suspend it in like a field. And like attached on either with like a spring sort of situation, and he had actually done it, and it sounded horrible, but but it was a cool project, and but I'll say this though, for a lo-fi project or something like, I don't know if you've ever looked up the copperphone, which is a microphone, and the microphone is designed to sound like an old carbon microphone from like the 1910s.
Nice.
And it honestly, like I heard it, and I think it's like $200 or $300 on Vintage King.
Of course.
But it's like, it actually sounds really cool. Like that would be a really cool thing to have, like so drastically different than any other mic that you would get in your studio, that it's like, oh man, having a tool like that in your toolkit for recording any, like a guitar, like a blues vocal, a harmonica track, it would just be such a cool paintbrush to have in the box,
All right, so Hint of Shrimp hits us up here. I had an idea for a video after y'all were telling me about Telefunken being a good company. I really realized I have very little info on the ranges of quality mic outside of Blue is bad and Sure is good. That's pretty much it.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, Blue isn't bad. Behringer is bad.
Yeah, Behringer is bad. Blue is actually just the entry level for blue is rough.
It's prosumer.
Yeah.
Prosumer. Yeah.
No hurt feelings if you're not interested, but basically a run through of different levels and brands of mics for different applications, if that makes sense. Actually, that does make sense. Also, kind of a history lesson, because you have, from a historical perspective, why things were developed, why condenser mics were developed, why dynamic mics were, but also pencil mics. Kind of going through what those kick drum mics. There's a bunch of them. Yeah, that would take a lot of research, but I think that's something that I would probably employ you for, Dylan.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, so are you talking?
That's a lot.
Are you talking brands of microphone?
Well, different levels and brands,
or
but
are you talking about?
I think he means types.
Like okay.
Yeah, because
brands, that's a crapshoot because it's such a subjective thing.
Well, and every brand has a condenser, pencil condenser. Everyone has like AKG has, and they have cheap ones, and then they have expensive ones, and then
I think my combative strategy when it comes to what brands to buy is you'll always find, and this is marketing 101, right? Is there are literally hundreds of companies that make microphones out there, and I think it really boils down to and it goes for any gear, not just microphones, but every one of these companies is known for a thing.
Yep.
Shure is known for dynamic mics. That's it. They're known for dynamic. Well, they do other things well, but their brand is revolved around making good dynamic mics.
Yeah.
And the same thing when you get over to the gear world, like Neve, the company Neve, who God rest her, Neve just died a couple weeks ago. Neve was known for preamps. Like the TED 73 is like one of the most legendary mic preamps in the world. SSL is known for mixing consoles. So all these, if you're looking for what company to buy a specific thing from, figure out which companies are known best for what.
Yeah, and like if you're like, well, I want a top of the line condenser mic, okay, Neumann, AKG.
Neumann, AKG, Sennheiser.
Yeah.
Those are the big ones. There's again Telefunken, another big one, but to me, it's like, okay, getting a contemporary condenser mic, AKG. Getting a vintage condenser mic, Neumann or Telefunken or one of the other bajillion companies that makes vintage. Like, you look up, for example, the original Neumann U47, brief history lesson. That mic, Neumann doesn't make anymore. That mic was discontinued in like the 60s or 70s, I think. But it was like one of the most well-known mics of all time. Now, not to be confused with the U47 FET, which is a mic that Neumann makes now, a very different microphone. But both of them are tube-based. But if you look up the U47, you'll find that Telefunken makes one. And in fact, there's a video where Warren Hewitt from from Produce Like a Pro there, he went to Vintage King, and they actually shot out like 6 different U47 remakes. Some of which they even tried to get it down to the original tube. Like the original U47 had a very specialized vacuum tube that was used in it that's not made anymore. So, you get Telefunken, which charges like $4,000, but then you get other companies, like sort of more knockoff companies that have like a $600 version of the U47. So, it's figure out what you're looking for, and then do a little research.
My next mic, I think, might be the shotgun mic. MKH 416. I think I'm closing in on that because for videos it'll just make so much more sense. But other than that,
and it's the top tier as far as shotgun mics go.
Yeah.
So
and like a lot of people like just get the cheaper ones. Why? Because I'm just gonna end up with an MKH 416 in the end anyways.
You're gonna be replacing it anyway. Yeah. I have the same approach to life.
But it's like if I know I'm gonna be like not quite so happy with it, like I'll be happy, but I won't be like, hey, I've got an MKH 416 happy. Yeah, there's an issue. The one thing I do want to get into is I've never actually used a tube mic. I want to get a tube mic. A shotgun mic, by the way, hint to shrimp, is shotgun mics are meant for grabbing sound that is not necessarily immediately there. So you can put a shotgun mic 10 feet away from you and it'll pick up the sound from your mouth because it can narrow down. There you go. So it's a long, narrow mic that can pick up sound from a long way away. Not necessarily just a long way away, but the MKH 416s used to be boom mics in the filming industry until somebody realized they work really, really well as voiceover mics.
And just to be clear, they are still very much boom.
Yes.
Like anytime I've been on a film set or a TV set doing boom op or doing on location mixing, one of these things at the end of a pole.
Yep. And that's how they get
actors.
audio from stuff. And because it basically it's you remember back in the day watching football where you see that guy with the big dome and a mic in the center of it, for getting audio from the other side of the field, they could literally hear stuff from the other side of the field with that.
You can actually build one of those like amplification shotguns.
Yeah.
Those are really fun. Because you can be like across 50 feet from somebody and they could be whispering, having a conversation.
And you'll hear it clear as day. Yeah, it's really,
amazing.
really cool. So that's going to be my next buy. But yeah, I'm looking at getting into a tube-driven mic. But then I'm like, I'm starting to get into the big coin now because you don't want to spend $400 on a tube mic.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Well, okay, all right. Now that we've covered that there, Dylan.
No, but I think there are some decent, like, again, the tube mic that I have is like $500.
Oh, yeah? Which one is that again?
It's just the ARTM4.
Oh, yeah.
But in that case, I bought it and then I swapped out the Chinesium tube in it for a better, like a JJ electric tube.
Yeah.
Which honestly does make a pretty massive difference, especially for noise floor.
Oh, huge.
Can have a much lower noise floor. In fact, the studio channel, which is sitting in my rack turned on right now, but I haven't used it in forever. It's just there because lights are fancy. It's got a horrible tube in it. It's the worst noise floor of any piece of equipment I've ever.
You're really selling it for me there, man.
No, honestly, it's that channel strip. If you're gonna get it, plan to swap out the tube. Get a $30-$40 tube.
Yeah.
Swap it out because it's $300. But if you're not gonna swap the tube out, you spend your $300 elsewhere.
Well, I was thinking, I don't know. I'm looking into it. I've never worked with tube mics, so it's also going to be when the bank account grows more than it is now, which, it's going well. I'm able to buy microphones to do reviews and stuff like that. But it's for me to start getting into that. I still have a Mac to buy. I still have. Oh my goodness, I got to upgrade this computer. There's a lot of things my money's going to be going towards. So one of these days. Don't ignore your messages, LOL. Sorry. Into Shrimp just like kicking my ass over here, man. Dylan is a saint. Wait, was that my phone or yours? Oh, you're hearing my phone. Oh, you're hearing my messages. Oh, because you're hearing my full computer messaging. There it is.
I was going to say, I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah, it's coming through the stream because I've basically got the
desktop audio turned on.
The mix out. No, I've got the full mix from my my board going through here is my out because I don't really have anything in the background except my Facebook messages. My Facebook messages have been popping off here. I'm gonna mute that tab. And hint, don't worry, it's nobody important. It's well, I mean,
it's just me.
No, it was a buddy of mine. It's not you. I looked at it on my phone, so don't worry. Not ignoring anyone.
Trying to see. There's so the Perception 120. What's your overall feel of that mic?
The P120. I really liked it. I didn't think it was anything that was like it's not breaking the rules, but it's also a really nice mic for the price. Like a really nice mic for the price. Damn it, the AKG D5 and Neat mics is still 50-50. 6 votes in. Make up your mind, people. Come on. Yeah, no,
So what I was gonna say is the P820.
P820.
The Perception 820 is that's the tube mic in the Perception lineup.
Is that a tube mic?
Yep.
Oh, that's $1,099.
$700 US.
Yeah.
Woo. Yeah. So I mean, if you're looking for like where to start with a tube mic, if you can rent that and do a review, it's too bad you don't live in Montreal because then you could just go to.
How does it have an audio sensitivity of 78 dB? Are they weighting these wrong?
Well, I mean, probably A-weighted. They're always A-weighted. But
no, but like I ran into this with the that's maybe because it's tube. I ran into this with the the mic, the Behringer XM8500, where they use the old style of testing the sensitivity of the microphone. And Bang's Naughty Bits, who actually very, very smart fella, or a person. I don't know if it's a guy or not. All I know is they bang Naughty Bits. It's he informed me that there's a different way that they used to, and that they no longer test the sensitivity that way. I've gone through it. I've been going over how they test sensitivity for mics and how they gauge it. 1 hertz tone per Pascal.
There's a lot of
yeah,
and sometimes they'll do like A weighting, C weighting, Z weighting. There's different, like the really ballsy ones will do like C weighted, which I believe is basically unweighted.
It's so good. And the worst part is there's no, like, when you're looking at a lot of the numbers in this, not only do manufacturers pick and choose the stats that they want to put out, like some mics you can't find the sensitivity, some mics you can't find the EIN, and it's like, come on.
Oh yeah, because usually they're horrible. That's why.
And it's like, come on, just give me that. And then you see like the sensitivity of 78 dB. Well, if that's a sensitivity, if it's negative 78 dB, that is one of the least sensitive mics I've ever seen in my life. Like that, and it can't be. I'm guessing it's probably not
78 dB per Pascal.
Yeah, that would be light. That would be really, really light, wouldn't it?
I mean, not unreasonably so, but yeah, it's lighter than solid state.
All right. Anyways, regardless, if I look into it, that's something you think. Well, AKG doesn't sell crap, so I guess there is that.
No. I mean, it still is kind of. I mean, obviously, at $1,000, give or take, that's still like verging on the professional line. But it's still still part of the still part of the Perception lineup, which is sort of a prosumer, like an entry level lineup.
Yeah.
But
maybe I'll wait on it. Well, I'm definitely not going to buy it right now. I don't want to go on a spending frenzy. I want to spend my money on either.
You're not talking about the sensitivity. You're talking about the signal to noise ratio.
No, it says right here, audio sensitivity 78 dB. I'm on the Amazon.ca. Maybe they just screwed it up.
Well, I'm on AKG's website, so I feel like AKG's website probably trumps Amazon.
Fair enough. So that makes me feel so. Signal to noise ratio of 78 dB.
Yeah, because I was gonna say yes. Well, it's that low, or it's that it's that low because it's tube. Tubes have noise. Like, hate to.
Yeah, no.
To burst the bubble.
78 dB is not bad, actually. It's
their sensitivity
not horrible.
Because I was gonna say sensitivity usually, like you were saying 78 dB. I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, wait a minute, sensitivity is measured in millivolts. Why the hell?
Well, no, but you can have a dB's sensitivity can also be displayed in dB.
You can convert it.
Yeah.
Generally, for professional products, it's usually millivolts per Pascal, which in the case of this is 20 millivolts per Pascal.
That's actually normal, if not a little high.
Yep.
Yeah. No. Going over the numbers gives me a headache. By the way, every single time.
This is why I did that whole rant about specs on pages.
Oh no, it's so true. But it's also, people want to hear the specs when you're reviewing a friggin' mic. So you've got to go over them. They give me a headache every time because for the most part, they don't really matter. Yeah, they matter. I mean, if you get a really cheap mic with a really high EIN,
I'd say you're right. They matter with cheaper mics. With more expensive mics, generally the specs are going to be pretty decent.
Yeah, the mic is going to sound pretty good.
I don't have to look at the spec sheet on a U89 to know it's great.
Yeah, how many people actually flip it over just to look? They're like, oh, I don't know about this signal to noise ratio.
Yeah, it's like a cereal box. They're like looking at the nutrition facts. Like, come on, it's Cocoa Pops. It's got a ton of sugar in it. Don't bother looking at the damn nutrition facts. The hell's wrong with you?
We'll see, but I'll dip into those at some point over the next little while. I'll look into whether or not, because I think the warmth of a tube might do my voice some good.
Yeah, tubes do add a certain creaminess.
Yeah.
Creaminess to the low end.
Well, that's always what people are trying to emulate, right? Like, I was watching a review of a new, I can't even remember. I messaged them to see if I could get not Clarendon. Oh, I can't even remember. But they have a setting on their interface to give the creaminess of a tube, and I'm like, why don't you just get tubes?
Just get a tube. Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna spend all that money.
Even then, like get a, I think a good place to start too is getting a decent tube preamp. I mean, like I've done it before where I'll like double up. I'll have a tube mic going into a tube pre, going into a tube compressor, going into my converter, and
your noise floor is like 30 dB or what?
Yeah, well, they're good tubes. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't use it to record like whistle tone vocals, but like I think
fair enough.
I think it's still like actually what the one cheap tube piece of gear that I've bought that I've actually been kind of impressed with over the years is the ART Pro VLA2, which is a dual channel compressor. And as far as cheap compressors go, it's it'll surprise you. I mean, this thing can get some really aggressive, like fast attack, almost distorted kind of warmth sounds.
It's pretty cheap.
But then it can also be very transparent. Like I know guys, like professional mastering engineers, that have one of these in their mastering rigs.
Nice.
Because it can actually be quite transparent, even though it's tube.
Huh.
But yeah, I would say if anybody out there is looking to get your hands on your first outboard compressor, the ART Pro VLA2 is probably a good pick.
Well, if I can build your desk, I will be. Because I don't want to start building a desk for rack mount before I or getting rack mount stuff before
it'll look really lame. Well, I'll put it this way: if I end up moving back to O-Town, I got a whole room of crap now that I need to get rid of.
Oh, really?
Some of which. I've got a spare UPS, power conditioner.
I could use a UPS. That would be nice. Okay? So this is I can actually ask you after the stream about what your plans are for moving, but we'll go over that in time. Just
at the moment,
case.
none. There are no plans at the moment.
Damn, maybe Christmas, eh?
Yeah, well, still, again, I don't know. It's coming to the end of March, so that's supposed to be sort of when, the pedal hits the metal as far as decisions.
Geez, man, if we were in the same city, you know what this would mean? Like, you might actually start your YouTube channel.
Yeah, well, see, now that I've reorganized this room, which is way better for all, like, the orientation is so much more conducive to creativity. But now for video stuff, I've been trying to think of what would be, like, I can't put the camera there. Ideally, I'd want to shoot this way.
Could.
So it's like, hey, studio in the background. But
you always want the studio in the background, or at least.
Well, I could, but that wall is like 8 feet behind me, less than that, like 6 feet.
Dude, my camera only sits. I'd say my camera, which is on the thing right there, only sits about 7.5 feet away. You got to get a decent. You got to get decent glass for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want like a 22 mil.
This is 16. So the camera's right up against you, but it's 16 mil.
That's like fisheye-ish.
No. It starts to fisheye at about 11. I'd say about 14 starts to fisheye. At 16, it's actually pretty good. So it's worth it. And then you can.
Well, I definitely am, because I find as much as I love how the 50 1.4 looks.
Yeah. Well, unless you're going full frame. It's just
not practical.
You can get the 24 mil with the same f-stop, like a 1.8 24. You're just going to pay through the nose for it.
Yeah, well, I was looking at it. It's about $800, which to me, for and it's got that nice little Nikon gold ring.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, my first pro glass. But let's see, web.
Well,
I'm curious.
This is the top of the chain for me. I'm looking at buying a new camera over the next year. So I've got a camera coming. I've got a new computer coming. This is going to be a big upgrade for the studio. I want to go 4K, and get new glass. I'm stepping away from Canon though. Probably going Sony.
Ooh, yeah. The Sony's, everyone's using the Sony's A7X and the A7R.
A7C is just right up my alley. The A7C will do everything. So
I'm trying to figure out this. I'm on this. I'm looking at my webcam here to see, because I'm curious what the alleged focal length is on this feller. It's got to be like 12.
Yeah, probably.
Or because it's not quite like exaggerated fisheye, like skateboard music video like fisheye.
Yeah, they're usually pretty wide. Like mine doesn't fisheye that much. But you can see the roof above me. Well, you're not looking, but the roof above me still has a bit of a always messing up which fingers are what. Right here you can see kind of a fisheye effect on the window and on the ceiling. So they all do. It's because they need to get as much information in as possible. So
Okay, so they just see here you can tell they're not legit camera manufacturers because they don't say focal length. They say 110. They say 110-degree wide angle.
That's why the video looks like crap. I'm sorry.
That said, I mean, it's like the actual like other than the weird lens distortion of the viewing angle, the actual quality of the video is actually decent. Like it's a full.
It's not bad, but you're better off using the phone camera. Like if you really want to get really good, decent quality, just use your phone camera. If you have an iPhone 12 up.
Well, even then, they all still have shitty, 12. Well, it's good enough for HD, but I think they're all still 12 megapixel cameras.
Well,
like my iPhone 8, which is on its last legs, but my iPhone 8 and the iPhone 12 have the same megapixel camera.
Yeah, but you only megapixel for video doesn't matter. Megapixel.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. Like 1080p in megapixels is like 5 megapixels.
Yeah, like and the more megapixels you have, the less light it lets in, anyways. So if you want low light performance, that's why a lot of
plus the iPhone 12 does all this fancy.
Yeah, they have post processing.
Yeah, which is supposed to be what really makes it is the AI post processing and the neural engine.
Well, love you all for sticking around through, especially the last 10 minutes of this, because we went off on cameras and stuff.
Yeah, we're on our own tangents. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Yes, I promise I will have a video on Monday. It might not be a sponsored video, sad face if that's the case, but I will have something. And maybe we'll do a studio tour next week if I can convince Dylan to get a couple extra USB extensions.
Well, I have them. I just have to actually plug them in.
Right.
And also, now my computer's behind my desk.
I'm not kidding you. Get me the measurements of your whole desk. And and I'm going to see if I can recreate it in my driveway. Well, piece at a time. Well, I got to do piece at a time, so I can do it. Like I can only cut outside. I can't cut in the house. So
the top, the desktop will be the.
I'm gonna take 2 3/4 inch plywood pieces and glue them on top of each other for the top. That'll give you the stability. I'm guessing it's probably about 1.5 inches thick.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's probably 2 3/4 inch plies glued together. So that's
yours is or this.
Yours is.
No. This is solid oak.
It's solid oak.
Yes, all right, trust me. The top of this desk was a pain in the ass to move.
Okay, I'll trust you there. At least
but the rest of it's just the top. The actual racks are high density MDF.
See, I wouldn't go MDF for that. I would go with the plywood for that. A little bit more longevity to that. So
you could that said, I mean these racks still weigh like it's not regular MDF, like it is very heavy MDF. Well, big enough that it can support an 80-pound UPS and a bunch of other rack gear on without buckling. So.
That's impressive. All right, guys, thanks for joining. We will see you. Well, I'll see you on Monday, and we'll see you next Friday. Cheers, and have a great weekend.
Ciao.